Hello there everyone, and welcome to another review on the channel. And today we're looking at the last of the Vanishing Ink batch of effects that I've recently bought. And today the object of that review is going to be Glance by Steve Thompson, a very good book test with magazines that I think a lot of you are going to necessarily like. If you're into book tests, I think this is very well worth it and very good. So let's learn the intro and learn more about it. Perfect, so decide to stick around, which means you want to learn more about Glance. So what is Glance? It's essentially a book test built into magazines. Now, I would love to perform this for you, but it is pretty much impossible to perform a book test to the camera, and especially a book test such as this where the choice of word is completely free by the spectator. But I will tell you how the routine works. You would introduce the two magazines, you would have the spectator scour through them, look through them. They're essentially going to choose one. You tell them to go to any page that has a lot of text on it, so don't go for like a headline or anything like that. Go for a page that has a lot of text, and for example this one, and then go for any big word that you can find on the page, and they can really go for any big word that they want. They're just going to be thinking about it. Then you proceed to tell them, put your finger on the word and look at the word before. Can you think of the word before? Can you look at it? I'm sensing this. So you reveal the word before. And then you're like, okay, now that I know that, let me try and get deeper into your mind. Think of the longer word. You can even close the book, the magazine, think of the longer word, and then you proceed to reveal to them what the longer word is. That's essentially what Glance does. Knowing that, where do you buy Glance, how much does it cost, and what do you get? So you can buy Glance directly from Vanishing Ink or through associated dealers. I got mine as no surprise, as I get almost all of my magic from ALAKAZAM Magic. This will set you back $39 US, which is around 50 Canadian dollars. And what you get is you get this nice big packaging. Inside of this, you get your instruction card, which is a video filmed with Andy Gladwin. I think it's at a convention in a hotel room or something. And he goes over how to read this, how it works, goes over a few methods of how to reveal. And then he also goes over some alternative handlings if you want to use this as a tossed out book test or anything like that whatsoever. He goes over all of that as well inside of the tutorial, which runs for around half an hour. And then of course the most important thing is you get your magazines. You get 2 of them. And these magazines are incredibly well produced. They really look real. Like, I mean, honestly, if you were to put this in a gift shop, people would take it and they would buy it thinking it's real. It is honestly incredible how real this looks. And what's really nice about them as well is that even if someone were to inspect it, the text is actual real text, which means that it's actually readable. So if someone were to want to pick this up from your shelf while they're at your house and just read through it, they would actually, well, be able to read the magazine, which is absolutely insane. So this is very well produced. It's almost impossible to see the method through it. I mean, if you inspect it for a very long time, page by page, you may find it, but overall, they're extremely well produced. They look the part, they look real, they feel real. Everything about them is just incredible. This is honestly insane how well this is produced. So you get 2 of those magazines, so you can give the choice to your spectators in performance. In terms now of difficulty, how difficult is Glance to perform? Glance is relatively easy. I mean, if you want to use the crib, there's a crib implanted in the actual magazine that you can use to essentially remind yourself of everything that you need to know, so it's super easy. Or you can make one your own. I personally make one my own in my stack of cards, so when I'm about to take my billets to remove one and write down what they wrote, I get my peek at the crib and I can immediately know what they're thinking of. But you do not necessarily need a crib. If you want to memorize what needs to be memorized, which is not that much, don't worry, it's not that much, then you can really do this without the need of the extra cards or a crib or anything. You can just do it. Think of a word, this is the word. You can do that if you want, and honestly, it won't take that much to remember it. But honestly, I do so many routines in my sets and in my performances that use memory and use me and have me remember things that I honestly feel sometimes some effects I just don't want to remember anything, so I'd rather take the easy way out and use a crib, and that's what I do for this, and I think it is no problem. So overall it is relatively easy, the method is easy, the functioning of this is easy, and every time I've performed it, it has worked perfectly, so there's no issue regarding that. In terms of practicality now, is this practical? Well, to perform this, you will need to carry around 1 or 2 of the magazines with you, which means that this is not something you can just place in your pocket and go and perform. You're going to need maybe a case or a bag or something to carry this around with you in order to justify the fact that you actually have the magazines with you. So you're going to need something like that. You're not just going to put this in your pocket and pull it out and perform it. So you do need to carry around the magazines with you. In terms of inspectability, the magazines are inspectable. As I said, they are readable as well, but if the inspector does take his time and really dissect it for like 30 minutes and reads the entire magazine cover from cover, they may get a hint of the method, but even then they would have to be looking for it, and even then you would have to let them play around with it for like 30 minutes and read it cover to cover. So it really is, I feel, in my opinion, inspectable at quick glance, and there's no real problem here. I think it can be inspected, even though I don't feel, because it's so free, I don't feel it needs the need to be inspected, in my opinion. In terms of reset, it's instant reset. In terms of angles, it is 360. In terms of table, you do not need a table. This can be done standing up. So in terms of practicality, it is very, very practical. Moving on now to where to perform. So where would you perform glance? Glance is something that you can perform in person or in stage or parlor or close-up or table hopping, but it's not something you can perform virtually. So you can perform this pretty much anywhere that you would perform a normal book test. You can perform this one as well. So performing wise, there's a lot of options for you. Moving on now into the positives and negatives. What are the negatives of glance? And there's only one negative that I have with glance, and that is that the writing is very, very small on the pages. Okay, I mean, it's regular magazine font, but if you have someone that has some, that doesn't really see or forgets their glasses, like for example, I can read this, but I'd have to use it like really close, right? So if you have someone that has problems reading very small print, then I feel this is going to be a bit harder to do. Like I did this to someone that didn't have their glasses on, and they really had to like place their finger on the word and hold it like this to see. So it's just something to keep in mind. It's probably not going to happen a lot, or probably not going to happen all the time, or for some people probably not at all, but it is something to keep in mind. The print is very small, so make sure you choose someone that you see doesn't really need glasses or has their glasses with them in case. Again, this is not a major negative, it's just something that I've noticed and something that I would want just to point out if it interests someone. But in terms of the positives, it is incredibly well produced. It is some of the best produced kind of magazines I've ever seen. These really feel authentic. Like honestly, if someone were to give me one of these at a convention and tell me, oh, this is an actual trick that I gave you, not just a random magazine, I would have never known. It's incredibly well produced. The method is easy. The method is also fun and ingenious. It is very unique. It's the only book that I've seen that uses this type of method as of now. It is very ingenious. It is very fun. It is very direct. It is very adaptable. If you want to use a crib, not a crib, you can choose what you want in terms of the performance. I think it's a very good mentalism and organic piece of mentalism that any mentalist should have. It is very, very good in my opinion. Having said all of that, would I recommend Glance 3.0, and what do I rate it out of 10? Would I recommend it? And my answer is yes, I love it. This is something that I already have in my case to perform at my show on the 27th of January. I will 100% be performing this. I absolutely love it. So I do recommend it. I'm giving it a 9 on 10. It is great. It is very fun to do, and I will be doing it professionally as well. So yeah, that's all I have to say about Glance. As always, leave a like, subscribe, and comment. I answer most of the comments down below, so feel free to ask. If not, thank you all again for all of the support, and I'll see you all in my next batch of reviews. Have a great one, and bye-bye.